Everyone wants to make $1 million in real estate. You know, most people that get into real estate, whether they become an investor or a real estate agent, have dreams and aspirations of making a lot of money. And that's one of the reasons why people get into this business. Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you a good friend of mine, someone who's been a mastermind partner of mine for years, who's been part of my coaching and training systems for years. And in his 5th year in business as a real estate agent, in his 5th year, he cleared $1 million in selling real estate in 1 year. And in this video that you're about to watch, he's going to walk you through everything that he did over the past 5 years, step by step, that led him to this ultimate goal, which is what a lot of people are after, which is reaching that $1 million in income in 1 year. So make sure you stay tuned, watch the entire video. At the end of the video, I'll share some information with you how you can start learning everything that this agent's going to share with you in this video. And I'll give you some tips and some strategies that you can implement in your business right away. So if you're new with my channel, consider hanging out, subscribing, and then put a comment below after the video. What did you take away? What did you learn? What questions you have in your real estate business so that I can make a video for you, helping you have the best year in your real estate career. Thanks for watching. Let's jump into the interview now. What is up, you guys? I am super, super excited and stoked. I've got one of my good friends, James Michener from Arizona, on another agent success interview with me today. And this story is going to inspire industry, the real estate industry. And the reason why I make that big claim is because my good friend James accomplished something this year as we're doing this recording in 2019. He has made over $1 million selling real estate, just listing and selling homes. And today we're going to walk you guys through how he did that, his whole entire story. So James, welcome to the show. We're excited that you are here, my friend.
What's up, Brandon? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Good
to see you as always.
Yeah, dude. I'm excited to introduce you to the world and share your story. So let's just jump right into it. Number one, you are on a vacation, right? Show people kind of the view you just showed me. I want everyone to see where you're at. This is how millionaires live, I guess, right?
So I'm in Sedona. Family rented a house for our Christmas, so
that's so cool.
We're about a 1-minute drive. About a 4-minute walk to downtown Sedona, and it's just gorgeous. It's a little cold, as you can see. I got a beanie on and a sweatshirt. It's a little windy, but it's perfect out here. So love this place.
Good for you. So how long have you been selling real estate? Let's give the crowd a little backstory real quick.
So it'll be 6 years, January 1st. So, and 6 years, but I didn't sell my first house until July 1st of that. So 5.5 years essentially, right? So I didn't have my first closing until 5.5 years ago.
So 5.5 years to get to the point where you've made over $1 million in 1 year selling real estate. So how many deals did you do this year in 2019 to reach that $1 million income mark?
I did 185 so far, but we have about 20 in escrow right now. So, dude, we sold 23 houses from November 17th until a couple days ago. So it was less than a month it took us to get 23 under contract. It was just crazy.
Wow.
Wildfire. Yeah.
That's incredible. So let's kind of piece this thing together, kind of walk people through. If you're watching this, like, okay, let's give them a blueprint of how they can get to the point where they can sell 185 homes in a year. And we're not talking about, just so people that are watching this are clear, we're not talking about, you don't have a 50 agent team, do you?
No, I had 4 agents on my team, so including myself, and then we had 2 assistants. So.
Awesome. All right, so 5.5 years in the business. What were the first couple of years like? Talk about some of the pains, the struggles, the things that maybe had you stuck at some points. What was the beginning like?
So the beginning was open houses and doing some Facebook stuff and going to the office and kind of hanging out. And then I ran into my coach, who I'd coached with for a while, for a little bit. He said, "Are you not doing those phone calls like I told you, James, sitting your butt down where you have no butt because you're just dialing your butt off?" And I said, "Nope." And he said, "Okay, well, good luck. If you're not going to listen to me, it's whatever. Like, I can't force you to do anything." So about 3 months later, I saw him back at the office, and I'm like, "Man, I haven't done anything." He's like, "You got to get down and you got to call. You got to call. You got to call." So I started doing that. Got my first listing appointment. My dad, who's a broker here in town, went with me, and it just started to snowball from there. I just kept calling and calling. It started to be like an hour a day, maybe. I'd just do for sale by owners and just kind of go after those. And maybe, honestly, it might have been only 30 minutes a day because I ran out of leads. And then I saw other people doing more and more. I'm like, man, I should start calling canceled and expireds, So I started doing that. I had Land Voice, which was like, you had to hand dial all the numbers. It was like really bad, right? But I started getting on appointments. I'm like, whoa, this is really cool. So I started talking to my coaches and learning these different like dialing systems I could use. And 46,000 turned into 180, turned into 300, turned into 6, turned into 750 to 1.2 million. So it's 1,050,000 for commission. But I also do hard money loans. I do have rentals, and then I also fix and flip properties as well. So
that's cool, man.
Yeah, but I call Monday through Friday for 2 hours a day, and I start at about 7:45, and I go till about 10:30 or so. But there's obviously breaks and whatnot that I take.
So your business, for the most part, has been a prospecting-based foundational business model. Let me ask you your opinion. Why in the world are we, guys like you and I've got my coaching company, you are an influencer in the industry too. Why is it so hard for us to get agents to make those calls? Like, why did you have a tough time making those calls in the beginning? Like, what are you seeing and what's your opinion of that?
I think there's an unrealistic expectation of what real estate really is, which people think it's like, oh, you're going to get all this referral business and open houses will do this, and my broker's going to give me all the leads. And, you don't see the down and dirty of what these successful people are doing. Some people can make $1 million, but their price point has to be a little bit higher, right? So my average price point is about 300,000, whereas my uncle-in-law, his is like over $1 million in DC, so he doesn't have to do as many deals. But I think it's just the expectation of what people get into real estate. They think all their friends are going to list with them, and they think this and they think that. It's just a really hard job, so to get going. So you have to have that support of a coach or whatnot, and just stick to it. The other thing is you got to know your why, and you have to have a vision board, right? And take advantage of the market while it's good. So that's one of the things I've done is I've just kept my nose to the grindstone. It's funny, my accountant last year or earlier this year, she's like, "Oh my gosh, you made $275,000 already." It's like April or March or something. She's like, "Are you going to be done for the rest of the year?" And my wife looks at me and laughs, and she's like, "Dude, no, Jody, James will not be doing that, right?" And then I quadrupled it from there, basically. So, and then I met with her, and she had never had anybody that had done that. Anyways, but the point is you just have to be strict, and you have to know what you want in life, and you have to listen to the coaches that are coaching you, because they're doing it for fun, they're doing it to make money, but they're also doing it to help you. And the realization is they're not going to push you to do that. You got to do it yourself, but you can learn. Nobody's reinventing the wheel. Everything I learned was from coaches. So
let's talk about that. I want to unpack, because you just said a bunch of stuff, but if someone's watching this, they may not catch everything you just said. So let me unpack a couple things that really stood out to me. Number one, you talk a lot about coaching and advice and learning things. One thing that you and I, we see a lot of things the same way, but one thing that we can agree on is there's also some bad coaching and some bad advice out there that, want you to go about your prospecting, with high pressure selling versus this thing that you and I talk about, which is winning with base hits and just getting face to face with people. Talk about that and the transition that you've made in your business after you and I have talked about, listen, let's focus less on, this high pressure. It's exactly what you just said. Agents have this false expectation of prospecting where they're going to call a stranger And that person is just going to agree to list their house over the phone because these real estate gurus are teaching them, yeah, that's what you do. You and I share a philosophy of winning with base hits, which is relationship based and getting face to face. Talk a little bit about that.
So I think the first thing that you have to realize is 70% of your appointments come from follow-up calls. So that's the reason I do the 2 hours. And not only that, but I don't feel as anxious when I talk to somebody. I get to go meet them. It's a little bit easier that way. Not only that, but the anxiety of putting all that pressure on you to make sure you land an appointment because you're being pushy and kind of a jerk sucks. And that'll eat you up. It'll stress you out and it'll make you sick, like literally physically sick. So going into it with an expectation of I want to help somebody and I want to be sold the way I want to be sold. Nobody wants to be pushed into anything. And honestly, your body and your mind doesn't want you to do that to other people as well. ABC, always be closing. It's like always be connecting. And I've won a lot of appointments because I'm able to build rapport. And one of my coaches doesn't believe in building rapport. I think it's amazing that you do that. And I've won because of my personality, right? But that just comes through knowing what the scripts are, but making the scripts your melody, your song, right? It's not a script, it's a song.
That's right.
And it just sounds natural. So, going back to it, just not putting all that pressure on yourself to land that appointment right away will make prospecting more fun.
Yeah. Why do you think these old school real estate gurus are still teaching that to these young agents getting into the business or not young in age, just new to the industry? Why do they still keep teaching these agents like call for 5 hours a day and only go meet people that are willing to marry you on the first date?
Yeah, see, that's a huge thing is marry you on the first date. There's no way. I go on so many appointments where it's not like that at all. And people are like, whoa, you're wasting time. It's like, well, actually I'm building relationships. And like if I'm the first person there and the only one willing to do that, they're going to call me before they call somebody else to do another interview because I'm going to make a good first impression on that. The other point to that is the older gurus, they also thought cigarettes were good for you back in the day. Like, dude, it's a changing of mentalities, and we have social media now, and that's a big thing I think too is social media. Like if you go in and you try to close somebody or slam somebody, they'll write you up on Realtor.com, Zillow, or Facebook, or the neighborhood social media. So you got to be really particular on the way you go about getting business nowadays because your reputation is at stake every single time you go on an appointment. And if you're a jerk and you're trying to close somebody over and over again, I bet you every single one of their friends are going to find out right away.
No, that's a really good point. And that's, that's what I've been really stressing with my students and the people that I'm coaching that are in my training program is just get face to face, right? And it's hard for an agent to transition, James, because all they've heard from all these old gurus is to do it that old way. But I'm talking with you right now, a guy who follows this philosophy, who's making $1 million a year following the face-to-face relationship-based approach around listings, right?
Yeah.
So that's cool. So thank you for that.
I represented one buyer this year.
Wow. That's incredible.
That's it. Yeah.
That's cool. So now let's talk about something else too. You're now, I think that you earning $1 million, and if I'm wrong, tell me, has more to do with what's up here than what comes out of your mouth. Like this, you don't have any fancy scripts or anything like that. You've become somebody different, in my opinion, because you don't come from a family of millionaires that I don't know about. Do you?
No.
And so you are a regular guy, a humble guy who has generated and done something what only a small percentage of humans on earth will ever be able to do. Talk about the person you had to become in order to earn $1 million and the mindset.
Oh man, you have to become somebody that doesn't care about rejection at all, and somebody that's going to be okay with just grinding. There's going to be hard times and there's going to be good times, and you just have to realize that your highs can't get too high and your lows can't get too low, that it's a balancing. Like sometimes I'll go like 10 days with no contracts, and then all of a sudden it's like 5 or 6, and then it goes down, and it's just a wave, and it's definitely emotional as well, and you question yourself a lot, like, is this worth it? And then I go to Home Depot and I see what those guys are doing for work. And I'm like, dude, I've worked at Home Depot and I don't want to do that again. I want to know that the sky's the limit for me. and the more work I put in, and the more I genuinely want to help somebody. That
you're getting a coffee? Oh, look at how nice!
Yeah, that's my mother-in-law, the best mother-in-law in the world.
Oh, what a sweetheart!
Yeah,
you got a great family, dude. You got a great family.
I do. I'm super blessed.
That was really
so going back to that, yeah, there's a lot of struggles that you go through mentally, and but in the end, you kind of have to be one step ahead. So going on those appointments, those preview appointments and whatnot are huge, because that's just practice, real life practice. Me and you could role play all day long, right, but they're going to throw you for a loop, whether their wife is there and she's the one hammering you, and then he's kind of reiterating some of it. Like, that just comes with, sorry, my battery's low. That just comes from practicing with people time and time again.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, I think, James, is you want to grab a charger? Is it going to die, or are you okay?
No, I think I need to grab a charger, man. So let me go. Yeah, I'm at 10. Well, I got 21 minutes remaining on this. So
yeah, you're all right. We're good. So but talk to the people watching this about what it takes, the work ethic. Like, how are you so consistent? Because that's what I keep trying to tell people. It's less about my fancy scripts or the website or this or that, the other thing. James gets up every day, regardless of how you feel, and you're doing the work. Talk about that.
Yeah. So there's been plenty of times where I'm like, I just don't want to do this. And those are the times that are most important for me to get up and do the prospecting, because I know if I'm not, somebody else is going to do that. And it's not a small paycheck I'm not calling for. It's a pretty big one. Yeah. And not only that, but it'll help my pipeline going forward. So, and the more often you let prospecting slip by, and I see this all the time with everybody that I help, because I have team members that I do coaching with, the more times you're like, oh, I'll get back to it, or I have a buyer, or this or that, the easier it's going to get for you just to push that towards the wayside. And my team members, everybody in my association knows that I don't answer the phone before 10 or 10:30. I mean, the par president could be calling me and I'll send her right to, voicemail, because I have a goal, and my goal is to provide a good life for myself and my family and ride the market while it's really good. And that takes 2 hours of prospecting for me to get that done per day.
Awesome. Now, let's just transition that. It's not 2 hours. An agent doesn't start off with 2 hours a day and expect to make $1 million their first year. Talk about this compound effect of pipeline, follow-up, and it's taken you 5 years of 2 hours a day. It wasn't, you don't call for 2 hours and get 5 listing appointments when you first start, right? Oh, did I lose them? I don't know if I lost him or not. I think I did. So let's see if he comes back or not. But that's the thing, right? Like, so James doesn't make $1 million his first year prospecting 2 hours a day. That's not how that works. He consistently has to prospect year over year over year to get to the point that where his 2 hours of prospecting is focused on follow-up for the most part. It's all the leads that he's generated over the past couple of years that are now manifesting into actual listings. And that's the part people really miss. It's the part where they prospect for their first month or two and they don't get anything. And they're like, well, prospecting doesn't work. They're not understanding pipeline maturity and the fact that they have to continue to prospect over time for it to manifest long term. And so hopefully, let's see if we can get James back on here.
Hey, dude, my computer died.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, listen, I've got you on the phone. Can you finish the interview on the phone?
Yeah. Yep.
Because
Can I log in Zoom on my phone?
Well, you don't even have to do that. We'll just get the audio from it. How's that?
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Yep.
So, all right, cool. So let's just pick right back up. We got to improvise, right? Like things, just like you were just saying in the interview, not everything goes perfect every day. And so we're improvising literally live on an interview. So it's perfect. So, So we left off talking about, the mindset and what it actually takes to become a millionaire selling real estate. What advice would you give somebody first starting out prospecting when they're not seeing results?
Just keep going, and don't let anything else interfere in your schedule. Time block it, because if you're at work, you'd have to be there for a certain amount of time, and so you have to do that for your family. Treat it as a real job, and just do what's most important, which is money-making activities. So you just got to keep going, and if the lead sources you're calling isn't working, try to switch it up. I mean, there's neighborhood calling that you can do. There's for sale by owners. There's cancels and expireds. There's just calling your sphere of influence. There's so much that you can do to get out there. But man, there'll be 3 or 4 days I don't set a listing appointment, and then the next day it's like 3 or 4 I set. So you just got to push through it, and every single person has to do that. Nobody's golden. So LeBron James didn't always know how to shoot a 3-pointer, but he practiced and practiced until it just became what he wanted it to be. So,
yeah. One thing like this, and then we can end this up, is your 2 hours of prospecting now is different than the 2 hours of prospecting when you first started, because you have a pipeline that's manifested itself and matured, and that's why you get so much more from that 2 hours than you did when you first started. Would you agree?
Yeah, my database has heard from me multiple times. I mean, I literally don't stop calling somebody. If they don't pick up, I call them about 12 to 15 times. But if they pick up, I'll call them until they say no, leave me alone, or So as the pipeline grows and it gets older and it gets better, your results get better as well. So it creates its own business in a way.
Yep.
I know that. But it does.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense. I mean, that's why I try to keep telling people is James Michener's 2 hours of prospecting is different than the new agent that just started. So let's end with this. I know I want you to get back to your family. What's your goal moving forward now in your life and in your business?
My goal moving forward is to do some coaching. So do some coaching. Also to build out my team. So I'm teaching others how to make a good living for themselves. Because one of the things I've noticed about me is getting the listings and stuff. That feels really great. But when one of my teammate members makes $100,000 or $200,000, is in tears, telling me how grateful they are for everything I've helped teach them and help them do, there's nothing more fulfilling in business than that, I'd have to say, because we're both making money, but they're changing the lives for their kids and their kids' kids and so on and so forth. So building out my team, doing coaching, and then working on maybe some flips and whatnot. But maybe just getting a little bit more control over like my schedule by teaching others how to do what I do.
Awesome. And hopefully you and I start to do some of that work together as we get into 2020, teaching people this philosophy around getting face-to-face, building relationships versus the high-pressure sales. So I'm excited for our future, man. I'm excited for you. Congratulations on this huge, huge accomplishment. I know how hard you've worked for it, and I just want to thank you for taking time to do this interview.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate it as well. I'm looking forward to hopefully getting to do some work with you as well. So you do a great job. I look up to you a lot.
Oh, I appreciate that, James. Well, thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you and your family, and I'll talk to you soon.
Merry Christmas. Talk to you later, Brandon.
Awesome. Bye. Boom. So there you have it, right? So it's not often where you can talk to people who are making $1 million in 1 year selling real estate pretty much as a solo agent with a support group around them. And you can take a lot away from that interview. So if this has helped you, or if you have questions, comments, you want to talk about what you're struggling with in your real estate business, feel free in the comment section below this video to let me know what you thought, what questions you have, what challenges you're having in your business. And I respond to every single comment personally. And then I'll also put I'll put 2 links below this video, one to my For Sale by Owner training course, where you can get the online training course and start learning right away. And if you want to learn more about coaching with me personally, I'll put a link below this video. You can schedule a call. We'll jump on a phone call, talk about the details, and if it's a good fit or not. So that is it for this interview. Appreciate you watching. If you liked it, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. I'm making a video like this every single week. And so thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.